Design for accessibility refers to being inclusive to your users' needs. For instance, users from your area, users who are disabled, and even your target users. When a person is more inclusive to the needs of his or her users, then his or her design becomes very much accessible to the users. The web has become a part of our everyday life. Many people consider it as one of the basic requirements of life. It is so integrated in our life that we consult Google about many things than we do with human beings. The point is, everyone now rely on the web to acquire information. This also includes people with disabilities, like visual impairment. Accessible design is good design. It benefits people who don't have disabilities as well as people who do. Accessibility is all about removing barriers and providing the benefits of technology for everyone. Currently, many people worldwide are experiencing low vision, color blindness, and many other difficulties associated with vision. Therefore, it is quite clear that there are many visual difficulties while using the internet. We looked at how design for people with visual difficulties can enable everyone to easily use the internet, including persons who are visually impaired. One common example of visual impairment is the color blindness. It involves difficulty in distinguishing between different colors, sometimes even perceiving colors and being sensitive to bright colors. Color blindness affects less than a quarter of the entire global population. The next form of visual impairment is low vision. It might involve partial sight in either eyes or both eyes. It also includes a blurred vision, clouded vision, and central field loss. It also affects less than a half of the world's population. The last form of visual impairment is blindness. It refers to loss of total vision in a person's both eyes. In this situation, a person is not able to totally perceive colors or sense any lights. The nature of these impairments makes the difference on how web pages are designed. As stated earlier, very many individuals are visually impaired. Therefore, the web must be designed in a way that everybody can have easy access without straining. Examples of vision impairments include tunnel vision, which leads to a web user seeing less objects or elements on screen. Loss of acuity makes messages difficult to decode, and color blindness reduces the number of colors a user can see. Enlargement of text sizes to ensure that the text can be clearly seen and easily read. Another one is the use of subtitles in video presentations. Customization of color contrasts, and lastly, the use of alternative image text to describe images. All these adjustments can easily be made in a web browser settings. Web designers should avoid the use of colors in passing their information. The use of colors might not allow web users to accurately get access to some important information. Use of labels and icons should be considered instead of colors. Textures should also be used instead of colors. Colors such as green, red, and brown may be hard to distinguish. Patterned overlays should be applied to bright colors to enable visually impaired persons to distinguish them. Use of different colors to allow for better readability should also be considered. For people who are visually impaired to be able to read text clearly, a contrast ratio should be applied between a text and its background. When the contrast between a text and its background is so close, people who are visually impaired may not be able to clearly read the text. Use of color should be taken seriously when designing notices that requires the attention of the user. While doing this, one should avoid using the colors which may confuse those who are visually impaired. And the designed elements should have clear instructions which clarifies their purpose. Placing a red cancel button near a green accept button might confuse a person who is red-green colorblind. Another measure that can help is avoiding the use of smaller fonts, which might prove difficult to read. It is recommended that web designers use medium font size that can be easily and clearly seen by visually impaired persons without straining them too much. It's very important to have a readable font family and size, but at the same time, it's very important to let people change the font size with the help of magnifying software and the ability to change the font size from the browser settings. However, it would be good if the first statement will be implemented because there are a lot of people with low visions who are not familiar with using magnifying software or adjusting the font size from the browser settings. In conclusion, what is on the internet should not exclude the visually impaired persons. Websites are open places for everyone after all. Providing accessibility to your website is your responsibility, whether you are a designer or a business owner. Ensuring accessibility will improve the overall user experience of your website, which in turn will improve the key performance indicators like bounce rate, average session duration, and conversion. Now, make your website accessible for your users.